Hi there. And right off the bat, I'm going to bust Porscha. I saw her getting in some of the dance moves there during the
Yeah, you
during
gotta
the
do
thing.
it.
Yeah. Well, I guess it's another one of those gosh darned AuthorTube streams, huh?
Yeah.
How are we doing and stuff like that? Want to say hi? What you're planning on working on for the stream and stuff? Feel free, Heather, Porscha.
Sure. Hi, everybody. I'm probably just going to be catching up on some work that I should be doing.
Yeah.
And that'll probably be mostly it for me.
Nice.
Hey, everybody. I'm Porscha. I will be working on an essay that I've been putting off for a really long time. And thank you for loving my hat, Malin. I started collecting these hats because I'm always cold, and I have one in every color. So now it's just become a thing.
Seriously, huh? Like how many colors and hats?
Let's see. Black, brown, 2 grays, pink, blue, mustard yellow, but like almost every color. I have one of these hats to go with. So
nice. That's Porscha lore right there, if I may say. There's going to be a pop quiz later in the year. So
I like that idea from Malin.
After every sprint, you should reappear with a new color. I should.
Have you got them all like handy, like in the room or in the house, or?
They're all in my closet all together, so I could go and get them, and just after every sprint have on a different color hat.
Right. Oh, and by the way, hi, Malin.
Hi.
How are you?
And every time I see Malin, I want to say, "You do not try. You do. You do, Malin. You do."
Yeah. Yeah. Malin tries. Malin succeeds. I'm going to be reading, I think, for the stream. I think it's going to be a reading kind of, stream for me. Yeah. Not much else. I think I was telling Heather backstage I'm having a pretty good day, if I may say, so far. I think, Porscha, that was just before you popped in, but, so it goes.
Yes. I'm also having a good day. Speaking of Malintoa, failure is part of success. I got a rejection letter yesterday that made me very happy.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Would you like to tell? Do tell?
Yes, I got rejected for Cave Canem, which I have talked about before. So as far as poets, especially poets of color and Black poets, there are 3 major fellowships that are really well known and respected. So there is Hurston Wright, which I've done, and the Watering Hole, which I've done. So I'm trying to complete the triangle and do Cave Canem. Cave Canem is extremely hard to get into. So I got my rejection yesterday. Everybody gets rejected from this place, like the first 3 or 4 times they apply. So
okay.
I knew I was getting rejected and applied anyway, because the more they see your name year over year, and then they'll check and see if you're like a big enough deal for them yet. So it's a thing. Like, so I was like, all right. I'm like getting rejected by good people. So, and I had already planned to do something else that weekend. Like I literally will be in Atlanta the weekend that it's going on, because I knew I wasn't getting it. Out of 585 applications, they accepted 15 fellows this year.
Oh, wow.
So
Okay.
That wasn't going to happen for me, and that's okay. Uh,
But they at least got back to you. I mean, it's
they
certainly
did.
conceivable that it could just be sort of lost to the void or something,
That
So
is true. That is true. And
yeah,
they always have the line in there that they're just like, a rejection is not, it doesn't speak ill of your poetry.
yeah,
It's just that it's always so many, they have so many more applications than they have slots. And I'm just
yeah.
like,
I
yeah,
I I, I do totally get that thinking though of like, and I use it myself. It's like it's gonna be this many rejections, et cetera, et cetera. Like the road is gonna be this long, no matter how much it seems to double back almost on itself and stuff. And you just have to follow the road and not give up. And if it's like this many rejections before you get accepted, then every rejection counts. And yeah, it's a good way to look at it.
it really does. And I think it's important that we talk about rejection, because I know that it's easy to talk about our successes and the stuff that we do, and that's really great to celebrate, but we want other writers to know, be like, hey, I get rejected too. Like, so don't feel like, oh, I suck because I'm getting rejected. I'm like, for everything I get accepted to, I get rejected too. I just forget to put it on social that I got rejected. So now I'm trying to tell
Yeah,
people, I'm like, I get rejections too. Like
yeah, for sure. Everybody
yeah,
gets rejections. Maybe not like the superstar writers who are already established. They have their sort of um, machinery in place for them. They have their editor, they have their publisher and copy editor and everything like that, where maybe it's more like you reach like Stephen King or whatever it is. And then that level, it's just like you're just submitting the next one in and then they're just taking the next one in and stuff. But for sure,
yeah.
anyone starting out and building their brand and everything like that, for sure, there's going to be tons and tons of projections. You're not even gonna, you're just gonna lose count of them, really. So
You are, but you're applying because you're getting rejection. So it's like, you're doing the work of putting yourself out there because you're getting rejected. So I'm like, yeah, I put myself out there. It's like they said no, but that's fine. But
yeah,
are either of you on poetry Twitter? I know Twitter is a garbage can at this point, but poetry Twitter just had that whole sonnet thing.
No.
uh, no, I
No.
mean,
Okay.
I think it's been a few years since I've even checked my Twitter or my X or something, whatever it is. Um,
So there was this whole thing. So there's this lady, right? And I don't remember her name, because I would name names. I just don't remember. But there's this lady on Twitter, and it's this older lady who, she has published some poetry books, but she's not like super well known. And like
okay,
every 6 months, she crawls out of her hidey hole on Twitter with some really big opinion about poetry, but it's usually aimed at somebody. So it was somebody that won a big prize, and I don't remember which one, but somebody that won a book prize for her book. And this woman is just like, it might be a lot of things, but these are not sonnets. So all of poetry Twitter for the last week and a half have been like, what is a sonnet?
got
How
it.
do you feel about form? What do you think?
I
Like
see.
it's been a whole thing, because this one like lady that's like 81 years old is like, I don't think these are really sonnets.
Right,
Uh-oh.
I
And
see.
I'm like, okay, like
Interesting. Yeah, we live in a current day world where it's kind of like something like that will just sort of go viral or just catch on, and then it'll be a discussion for 2 weeks or something like that.
yeah.
Yeah, and I feel like in the writing world, at least, poetry has way too many opinions. It's the one genre that everybody has something to say about.
Poetry,
Everybody
you mean?
has an opinion.
Poetry, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, I could
everybody
see
has
that.
an opinion. And it's just funny because like my mom always used to tell me, like, opinions are like belly buttons, everybody has one, like
Right?
it's fine.
Yeah, I've heard that one. I've heard that one.
Yeah, so it's a, as a matter of fact, speaking of rejections, somebody that bought my book didn't like it. Now I've sold a pretty good number of copies. So this one
Yeah,
person, and he's he's really sweet. So he didn't say he didn't like the book, but my husband was like, "Oh, what are you thinking of the book?" And he's like, "I don't really want to say." And then he comes home and he's like, "I don't think he liked the book." And I was like, "Okay." I was like, he bought it and like no refund. So like I'm fine with that. Like
So did Edward actually meet him out and about in person, or how did this?
they know each other.
Oh, okay, okay.
So it's an acquaintance of his. And I was like, so then I told him, I was like, you don't have to be my bodyguard and like accost people when you see them and be like, what did you think of the book? I was like, that's a little aggressive. Like, it's okay. Like, so it was just funny because that was I think he thought it would hurt my feelings. And I was like, well, I mean, he paid his $15 and like no refund. So like, have fun with that.
I think
Have
as
fun with that.
creative
That's
people
hilarious.
in general, though, like we need to be able to take the hits too. I mean, that's how you grow
Yeah.
and that's how you evolve. So I think that as writers and as creatives in general, like you got to develop that tough skin because of course it's subjective. Not everybody's gonna like your stuff. So
Yeah, totally.
That's true. I mean, and I'm looking at it like I've gotten it's not even negative feedback. My husband accosted somebody that maybe didn't love the book. And I'm like, I've sold a few over 100 now. I've sold over 100 books. And one person is like, not really. And it wasn't like I hate it, it's terrible. It was like, not really my thing. I'm like, that's pretty good odds. I mean,
yeah,
Yeah.
definitely.
one person.
That's only like 0.9% of the people,
Right. And that's okay. I'm like, thank you for your support. Like,
Yeah.
sometimes you buy things to support people. Sometimes I buy things from people that I know aren't really my jam, but I support the person. And I'm just like, I'm going
Okay.
to buy your thing. I bought some stickers from somebody to support them, and I don't even know what it is. I think it's some character from a show that I don't watch. I'm like, I don't know who this
Right.
man is, but thank you for your creative interpretation of this. Sorry to this man.
That's when you find out they're not even stickers; they're actually magnets, right? Also.
Like, oh, is this for my refrigerator?
But
Who is this guy?
but it's the thought that counts, right?
It's the
Look at this here. Rejection is the bricks that we build this house upon. You can do it, Porscha.
Thank you.
Twitter poetry, drama. I like this. No takesies, backsies. That's funny. That's so that got my funny bone there.
Your
Well,
check's already cleared, but okay.
yeah. Should we do a first sprint at this point, like a first of three? I see we're 13:33 into our broadcast at this point. Sound good?
Yeah.
Do talk amongst yourselves. I just need to actually share my thingy thing, click the buttons and stuff.
You got this, Michael.
Yeah, thanks. Somehow it does seem kind of meaningful aimed at me, but
Your timers are my favorite, Michael.
Oh, this old thing? Like they used to say.
It's not going to play an ad in the middle, so I love it. Like
that. Well, that if it does, we have a serious problem. I'd say. That would be some serious takesies, backsies. Anyway, I'm just feeling silly. I do apologize. Let's go ahead and do it and all that. Good luck, all. And yay, that's the end of our first sprint. How did y'all do?
Good. Got some work done, and yeah, that was it for me mostly.
Okay, nice. I see we might have a bit of a wardrobe change.
I was, as per Malin's request.
Nice. Nice.
So, I did pretty good. I had just started to write. I got sucked down a rabbit hole of, I don't even know what that was. It was something on Instagram, and I got sucked down a research rabbit hole. So,
Oh,
yep. Oh, I could do this all day. I have a lot of these.
I like that word. Malin's coming in with the chic, fun words today. I like the word swapperoos. Sorry,
Yeah.
swapperoos. Yeah. And Cool Gamer has popped in during the sprint. Hi, Cool Gamer. What's up? Yeah. Sorry, did I cut you off a bit there, Porscha? I think I did.
No, you didn't. But I
Oh,
mean, if anybody else wants to also change their hat after, during the.
there could be something in the works for that. What about you there, Heather? You might have. Do you have something you can
I
lay
got
out
no
for
hat.
us?
I'm sorry, guys. At least not up here. Maybe downstairs, but
No pressure or anything. But yeah, you were saying the Instagram thing, right? Yeah.
Yeah, and it was so funny because they're educational Instagrams, but it's still not what I should be doing right now. So, like,
Yeah.
I should be actually writing the essay that I've been putting off since December. Yeah.
This Portia, this is for you with love from Malin.
Yeah.
I don't know why this is funny. Yeah. I read for the sprint, and then I actually just popped downstairs and had a banana as a snack. It was like old, like brown, and like it needed to be eaten like today. Like tomorrow, it's gonna be like too late. It's gonna be like a write-off. So I just made sure to get that in, to eat that, and yeah, the reading went well. And yeah, I don't
is
know.
that the book you're gonna do the live stream on?
Yeah. So it's Virginia Woolf's To the Lighthouse. Here's my copy.
Ooh.
Here, and it says there, at the bottom, Virginia Woolf.
Cool.
So yeah, what page am I on now? I'm on 115. So the last page is 184. So it's at least page wise, it's not a long book, but yeah. I've actually just started part 2. So there's 3 parts to the novel. So I've actually just started part 2. Yeah, I'm digging it. It's my kind of thing.
Awesome.
Old and old timey, and
That would be right up your alley.
Yeah. But yeah. Well, we can chat a little bit before we get into a second sprint, Like, how's the weather?
It is, because do I go outside if I don't have to? No. It is 48 degrees and cloudy here. That's not too bad.
Okay. So that'd probably be about like 8 degrees or something Celsius, I would figure, somewhere abouts there.
Yes.
But yeah. What is it? So yeah, it's -1 Celsius here right now. We've got snow on the ground, not a lot, but it's there. And yeah, I guess that'd be like about 31 Fahrenheit, I'd say, if freezing's 32.
Okay. That's brisk. It's nice and brisk. I saw I think it was an Instagram reel, and this guy was like, stereotypes about where you're from. This person is Canadian. He's like, people think it snows here year round, and then all the comments, it doesn't. It doesn't snow there year round. Like,
Yeah. Wait, for Canada, you mean?
yeah, people think it snows in Canada year round, and he's like, it doesn't. And people were like, oh no.
year round. Like, I feel like there's some kind of basic astronomy lesson there. Like practical astronomy 101.
Right. I was like, it's not the North Pole. Like, it doesn't snow year round.
Yeah. Actually, where I live, which is in the south of Canada, in June and right around like, the summer solstice, the sun will actually be shining on the land or the ground more directly than it will be in the States because like just with the axis tilt of the Earth, and then like with the summer, it's literally just like here's the sun and it's just shining directly on like the Earth at that latitude. So like actually at that like brightest point in the year, we like here we'll actually get more sunlight because south it's actually starting to curve away the other way, right, towards the southern hemisphere. So there's actually less direct sunlight hitting like the Earth like that. But yeah,
that sounds like fun. More sunlight and
yeah, that's funny though. Somehow that just got me like, it's so far north that it must be snowing there all year. There's also
it's not that far. I'm like, if you go, depending on the part of Canada, of course. I'm like, if you go to New York, you're there. Like,
yeah.
So
yeah.
And it doesn't snow year round in New York, so I'm pretty sure.
Or maybe it does, right? You never know. But there was this funny thing that I kind of got that I heard about. Like in Australia, it's Australia, and I say this with like total love and everything, but there are a number of things in Australia that are sort of backwards. It like as we like in the States and in Canada are used to it, right? So certain things, and they talk about like the toilet flushing and the water swirling,
the water going down,
like in the other direction and stuff like that, and seasons obviously and whatnot, and how they kind of like have their Christmas like in their summer and stuff. But there was another one that I just found kind of interesting. It's just kind of, it's not that interesting, but it does tie into the conversation. Like here in North America, we have this idea, this very prominent idea, and for good reason, where it's like, if you go north, it gets cold. And if you go south, it gets warm, right?
Right.
But in Australia, it's the other way around. So their mentality, based on the way that the Earth is and everything, and the hemispheres and all, and the seasons, when they're going north, it's getting warmer, and as they're going south, it's getting colder. So I just thought that was kind of cool.
Yeah, Australia is an interesting place. I'm not going to say I would like to go because Australia scares me, and not many things scare me. Like everything there is fatal. Like even the small animals and bugs, they're just like, oh yeah, like if this thing bites you that only lives here, like you'll die in 36 seconds. And I'm just like, what?
You can get into a fight with an ant and lose.
Dudes. I'm like, they have such things, like they just have a different code of living, and they're okay with this because they're used to it. And I'm like, this is not okay with me. Like, I
Yeah.
don't want that much interaction with nature that could kill me. Like, I'm uncomfortable. I don't want to, like, not saying I wouldn't go to Australia to visit, but I would be like terrified the whole time.
I will kind of, throw the wrench into the gears of the conversation a bit. But have you guys heard of the show All for Adventure? It's an Australian show. I don't know how big it is in Australia even, but it's basically like a four-wheel driving, adventuring, like camping, sort of fishing,
Mhm.
outdoors show in Australia. And yeah, I do recall it's like Jason Simon, and depending on like the season, they bring on like other peeps also to kind of accompany them. But it's basically Jason Simon each season, and Jace is kind of like the main guy. And I do remember him saying like, "Oh, like here in Australia, it's not the way you think. Like we don't have like." I think he was saying something like, "Oh, we do have something or whatever," but then he was like, "But you guys have got like bears and like big wildcats and stuff like that." And he was like, "We don't have anything like that here." And so I don't know. I guess it just kind of depends on how you want to define like dangerous and and
I mean,
whatnot. It was just kind of funny because like to him it was like, oh my god, like a bear or like a mountain lion or like that to him was like exotic and like wow, like dangerous and stuff like that. But
or like the zebras here, the when we had the wild zebras here in Maryland, um, a couple of years ago, and
oh,
zebras got out and they had wild zebras
right. I
out.
did I hear about that. Was this like 7, 8 years ago or
No, this was like a year and a half, maybe 2 years ago, because it's when I was doing my stream every Wednesday night. You were there because I would give the weekly update on if the zebras were still out. And then people were dressing up like zebras and having these parties. Like they were siding with the zebras and they were just like, yeah, be free, don't get captured.
Oh
Uh,
my god.
oh, there could be like like in America you've got everything. There could be like some reality show or something based on the zebras.
yeah,
I
it
could
was
just
a
see.
whole thing. It lasted like almost the whole summer. Like these zebras had gotten out and nobody could catch the zebras and it lasted months. It was a whole thing. Um, but I
Yeah.
guess it just depends on what you're used to where you live because while we don't have a lot of animals that could kill you, at least not in the part of the states I'm in, our people are more murderous than in a lot of places in the world. So I mean,
Yeah. Yeah. It's
like our
interesting the way
people.
it's interesting the way you can be like out in the boonies, like literally out in the wild, stars above you and everything at night. And like all you need is like a tent. And you can zip the tent up if you like and whatnot. But then it's like when you go to the city that you need like the storm door with the deadbolt lock.
Yeah,
Like that's where it's dangerous, like where there's people, not where there's nature. So that's just kind of funny. But
and it is true because I know for me, growing up in the city and moving out here to a more rural area, it took me a long time to be able to sleep in silence because I'm used to cars, people occasionally screaming and arguing, like stuff like that. I can sleep like a baby. And then I moved out here and I'm like, there's nothing. There's like no sound at night. How do you sleep in all this
Yeah.
nothing?
Yeah, that's interesting. It's like you're used to the almost like the sound pressure, and then all of a sudden, so you're like your equilibrium is based on you like sort of like being used to that and pushing back on that sound pressure. And then when there's no sound pressure, all of a sudden there's like a negative sound pressure, and that's what's odd to you. Then
And it is.
what
And even
needs you
now, I
have to
sleep better
adjust
at my
again.
parents' house. I sleep better at my parents' house. I can hear their next door neighbors
Yeah,
like arguing at 3 a.m. and
and it's like a
occasional
lullaby,
like
right?
sirens. Like it's fine. Like I sleep so well because I'm accustomed to that.
Right.
And it's whereas Edward grew up in the suburbs, so he's like, "How do you sleep through all this stuff?" And I'm like, "What stuff? What are you talking about?" And he's like,
Yeah,
there's cars
yeah.
speeding down the street. There's people yelling, and I'm just like, "Oh yeah, that's just the ambient noise of the city." Like,
Yeah, it's just like the birds and the trees and everything like that.
yeah.
Susurrating. I like this here. Malin. What Michael considers old is what we consider ancient. Imagine what I consider ancient, huh? We didn't even get any snow in London this year. Oh, look at this here.
No snow in
I'm
London.
so sad. I love snow. I'm sorry, Malin. Maybe I could like mail you some of my snow, to a PO box or something that you could provide. I'd be down. I'd be down. That's what friends are for, right? Um, Australians had the emu war and they lost against the emus. Oh no. Well, as long as that peace is achieved, maybe.
I wanted to purchase an emu farm when I was 19 or 20. They used to have these commercials on TV, like these emu farms, and they were like where you would own it and then you didn't have to take care of it yourself. Like they had people that you could hire to take care of, and it was like an investment thing. I don't
Cool.
know what people do with emus, but I was like, maybe it's a solid investment. And my mom was like, do not buy an emu farm. Like, I don't
Hmm.
think that's what you think it's going to be. And I was like,
Yeah, I could see there being a twist to that kind of endeavor.
yeah.
Yeah. Well, you can find everything on YouTube these days. You can always YouTube emu farm and kind of go from there. um, what's this here?
No, that's too much like home. No thanks.
Yeah. Well, sprint number 2, possibly, maybe,
Yeah.
perhaps. All right, and all that. Well, indeed, then. Good luck, all. Woot! And yay, that's the end of our second sprint. How'd y'all do?
I finished work and then I started reading.
Oh, nice. Nice.
Nice. So I started writing a little bit, and it's going slow, but it's going, I guess.
Nice, nice. And there seems to be something about you that looks a little different. I can't quite place it, but you know. Yeah. Cool though. Cool. I just kept on with the reading. All's well at my end. Yeah.
Thank you, Ellen.
Porscha, this is for you with lovely Madeline. Oh no, what's this here? Okay, I promise, Malin, next sprint, I'll deliver. You know, I won't let you down. Somehow, like the period at the end of this comment hurts my soul. You know, I won't let you down. Next sprint, Malin.
It's more than the comment itself. It's just disappointing.
Yeah.
We were rooting for you. We were all rooting for you, Michael.
Yeah. What can I say? You know. CB actually came in during that sprint. Hi, CB. How are you? This is for you. It's luck from Porscha. Yeah. CB got distracted as usual. Okay.
But don't we all like? And I also started like having a little bit of lunch. I'm having some pot roast, which there's it's a TV dinner because me and Edward have this whole inside joke about pot roast because we know someone who makes pot roast like a lot. Like 4 or 5 times a month, this person makes pot roast. And they make it so much. We're not eating dinner with these people, but they make pot roast so much, it makes us not want pot roast because we're just like, that's a lot of pot roast. Like, why so many?
So we're talking like at least once a week, basically.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's a lot of pot roast. And I was like, that is a lot of cow that you all are consuming in your household. I mean, no judgment. Like, I'm sure everybody's having fun, but like, the kid was just like, was like, can we just like order out for pizza? I mean, like, no offense, we've had pot roast like 6 times this month. And I was like, Jesus, that's a lot of cow.
It's kind of like the stories like when you grow up on a farm and the main thing growing on the farm is corn, and then like your whole childhood you just eat like thousands of corn, cobs of corn. And it's kind of like makes me kind of think about that.
Right. And I love corn. So I have, and if my mom ever watches this replay, it'll be hilarious because my mom used to tell this story about how when she was little and my grandma would make corn. Exactly. No judgment, fully judging. You know me, like, no judgment, but really like. But my mom used to tell the story about my grandmother making corn, and she would make corn on the cob and she would like cut the corn off the cob for my mom, right?
Yeah.
So I was young. I was like maybe 6 or 7. And I said, oh my God, mommy, are you older than canned corn? And she was like, no, why would I be older than canned corn? And I was like, well, why did she? Which then made her think, why didn't she just buy canned corn? Because she would like get corn on the cob and then cut it off. So I just assumed she was older than canned corn. And she's like, no.
Oh my gosh.
That's funny. Oh dear. Well, I mean, even Steinbeck's Cannery Row is considered a classic now. Like it's that old. Oh dear. Yeah.
I saw a video talking about World War One rations, and somebody had like this can of corn from World War One. So I sent the video to my mom, and I was like, "I'm sorry, I assumed you were older than can of corn."
Oh man, poor mom.
And she's really young. That's the thing. My mom's going to be 60 in April. Like she was really young. So she was younger than I am now, and I'm just looking up at her like, "Are you really old?" And she's like, "No."
My mom is actually celebrating a big one soon, like this coming May. For her, it's the big 7-0.
Oh,
So
nice.
yeah. But yeah, that was funny. The way, also the way you told it, it was brilliant. You know, I had the whole punchline too. You know, sort of like, "Mom, are you older than canned corn?" Also makes me think of what they were talking about just recently in a stream, like grits. You know, like as mostly a southern kind of thing. You know, and grits being like, as I understand and as they were talking about on the stream, like basically, what is it? Like it's corn, but it's like the inside of the corn.
Mhm.
It's like what's the word exactly?
What, hominy?
Cornmeal or
Yeah, like hominy. Like it's like really
yeah,
fine ground, the like the inside of the corn. Yeah,
yeah, hominy. That was another word that I did see at least
yeah.
spelled out in the chat. So yeah, I kind of learned something there. You know, was that that was recently? I'm actually drawing a blank, sadly, on whose stream it was. It might have been Desiree's stream, Coffee Reading Writing. If I'm not, if it wasn't, I sincerely apologize. But yeah, I did learn something there because like we don't have grits or anything like that up here. Even being in the south of Canada, for whatever that might be worth. But yeah, it's not a thing. It's not a thing here. Grits.
It's not a thing.
It's a matter of academics here and
Have you
learning about
ever
the world.
seen the movie My Cousin Vinny? If you have not seen the movie My Cousin Vinny, go find it and watch it. Like
My cousin Vinny, like I've seen it like 25 years ago. Like when it was new,
okay,
I've seen it. I don't remember what it was all about. That was Marissa Tomei, right?
yes.
Yeah.
One of my favorite movies of all time, but they had that whole scene in there because they were from New York and they went down to Alabama and they had the grits and the guy was like, "What's this?" He was like, "It's grits. You never had grits?" He was like, "No, I'm not part of the grit eating community."
Heather, what about you and grits? Do you get along?
I'm not a big fan of them, but my husband is. He eats them all the time. Yeah, his family's big on the grits and the southern cooking.
Cool. And I know it's like this whole thing, like on the east side of America, like the whole like sweetened versus unsweetened iced tea kind of thing, and you have like different states doing it different ways, and indeed, of course, like different counties, as you would say, within states also, and even like different restaurants and different restaurant chains doing it differently and everything like that. And generally, as I understand it, the trend is that as you go more to the south, you tend to get more of the that probability almost will say you'll more likely get the sweet iced tea, right, or the sweetened iced tea, and then if you go a little more north, then it's like it'll probably end up being unsweetened and all that, right? If that's safe to say. But anyway, I will also say that it's kind of funny because here in Canada, it's all sweet iced tea. There's no such thing as like tea that's cold that's not sweet.
Huh.
Like it's if you're talking iced tea, it's all sweet. Like you can't even find unless you like take tea yourself and then you chill it or something. Like that's the only way you're gonna get iced tea that's not sweetened. But we Canadians, we're simple. We just pick one way to go and then we stick with it. Maybe that's what it comes down to. But
it's from all the year-round snow. You have to just, when you can get out and get provisions.
Yeah, year-round snow. You got to go for the sweetened iced tea. To keep your body fat there, so that in the tremendous cold you won't freeze to death or something. Got to keep your skates sharp, nice and sharp, so you can go out for a nice skate. Maybe get the mail while you're at it. The moose everywhere and the beavers, and you got to go around those big dams that they build any way you can. Yeah. But anyway, yeah, let me actually just see here. I know I have fallen behind in the chat. Just a sec.
No, I actually never had pot roast until I was an adult. We didn't eat that. Like it was a lot of stuff that I had as a kid, but we were not pot roast people. So we actually didn't have like a lot of casseroles and things like that either. So we were, just not regular, but we're Appalachian. So, your salmon cakes, your chicken, your stuff like that, like but we didn't have like pot roast. I had never had a casserole. I discovered green bean casserole as a teenager, and I was like, it's a casserole with green beans. This is so confusing. And it wasn't bad, but I was like, I'm so confused by this. Like, it's a casserole filled with vegetables. And I was like, is this a thing everywhere? And people were like, yeah. And I was like, oh.
Well, I mean, I've had green bean casserole like a couple times, but it's definitely not a thing for me, at least. Like, it's kind of like definitely a like peripheral kind of thing in terms of like dishes.
Yeah.
But I actually will go ahead and say I love pot roast. I love just about every type of casserole. At least a few times a year I'll have one or the other, or not often, but on a somewhat consistent kind of basis over the year.
Well, I am definitely not opposed to casserole. I don't want to offend our casserole-loving public here. I am not anti-casserole. It's just not something I grew up eating much of.
So you're not an anti-casseroler, huh?
I am not. And my favorite casserole is Chicago deep dish pizza, because being married to somebody from Jersey, I was like, I love Chicago pizza, and he's like, that's casserole. That's not pizza.
That's funny. New Jersey's famous for its bagels too, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I know that from Mars. Mars said that one time, I think. CB, also in Malaysia, corn is a dessert. Yeah. I know that in Chinese culture, a lot of times fruit, just plain and simple, is considered a dessert. Like for a dessert, you might just peel an orange. Look at this here. CB, my mother will be 70 in June. So CB, my mom is just about a month or so older than yours, it seems like. My godmother turns the big 70 next month. Okay. CB weighing in with this comment here. Yeah, it seems like grits is really kind of like a southern thing, like more or less, I would assume, from what it seems to me. Oh, Mallet, now it was the Troublemakers. My bad. Yeah, I think I did kind of maybe think I got it wrong, but it was the Troublemakers talking about grits, and yeah, in the stream and in the chat also.
Yeah.
Look at this here.
Also never heard of grit.
Well, yeah.
I never had them until college because I didn't grow. We ate rice for breakfast instead. So we ate sweet rice, which is also a thing in some southern places. It depends on where you are in the South. So we
Sweet
ate.
rice.
So we would have rice. As a matter of fact, rice wasn't really something we had with dinner. We'd have cornbread with dinner, but rice was the breakfast food. So you have it with a little bit of milk and sugar and a little bit of butter, and it's like a porridge.
Mm. That sounds good. It almost sounds like a sweet congee or something,
Yeah.
which I think is also a thing. Yeah, so yeah. I mean, for sure, you can cook rice lots of different ways. That's for sure.
Yeah, my culture has a similar dish, but it's rice and like this like porridgey kind of substance, and it has like
Yeah,
cinnamon and a bunch of other things in it, and it's a super sweet like dessert. Like they'll eat that for dessert.
right. I see. Cool. Yeah.
I love it, by the way. Like, I mean, if you make some, I'll fly down. We'll get on a plane for it.
CB over here, iced tea is a rarity. Tea here has milk, and some people put in sugar. Ick. I haven't had tea with sugar in it on purpose since I was a kid. Okay. And CB, you're in Glasgow, aren't you? Interesting. Thanks for that. What's this? We do the same in Europe most of the time. Dessert is just mandarins or strawberries, etc. Yeah, yeah. I mean, it seems to be like it definitely makes sense to have fruits for dessert because it's sweet and it's also like there's a nice aftertaste and like also for like the cleanliness of your mouth, like your mouth is going to be cleaner after you've had fruits than like any other food basically.
Yeah.
So
And
yeah.
you don't have that sticky, sugary feeling like from heavier desserts, like a cake or a pie.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
You don't feel that, Yeah.
Let me see here. CB, New Jersey is famous for Bon Jovi, Frank Sinatra, Buddy Valastro, and several other things. Can I think of anyone famous from New Jersey? I don't think I can. Like it would take a while. Like later this evening, I would like suddenly think someone would kind of pop into my mind, but at the moment, I can't really think of anyone.
I mean, and Wendy Williams, if you're into that kind of thing, who worked at Bamberger's, which is a department store in New Jersey. And the only reason I know this is because Edward worked there as a teenager, and then Wendy Williams told a story about working there when she was a teenager. And I was like, did you work with Wendy Williams? And he was like, no, different location, different thing. No. Like
yeah. That's funny. I've been to New Jersey. It was I was with my family. I went on a vacation there. That was years ago. That was probably the mid to late 90s. But I do remember, I remember the people being very tall there, and they drove a lot of Subarus. We had a Subaru too. We fit right in, even though we were short.
Oh, we have a Subaru. That's what makes that funny. I'm like, oh well.
Yeah. Um, oh, look at this here. This is interesting. Oops. I'm not a big lover of fruit. I don't mind it in a smoothie, though. Yeah, for sure. For sure. I do really like a good smoothie myself, actually.
Hmm.
Even like a milkshake, which is obviously a different thing. But the boss is from New Jersey, isn't he? What's this here? Who's the boss?
Oh gosh.
Did you
I
hear
think
what I just said?
it's
Who's the boss?
an underrated 90s TV show.
That was kind of
Yes, Springsteen. I could see his face in my head, and then I wanted to say Bono, and then I'm like, nope, totally different.
yeah, okay. Yeah, I get it now. I know what you mean now. Yeah. Bruce Springsteen, of course. I wouldn't have gotten there myself, but CB, when you say it, then the penny drops and I remember. CB, I was in New Jersey in 2022. We got a flight from Houston to Newark and took 2.5 hours to get into Manhattan. Yeah, I mean, I would believe that. I'm actually not sure.
That traffic, if you were driving from Newark to Manhattan, that traffic can be kind of thick. Oh,
Okay, yeah. I'm sure there's a turnpike or something involved in that.
yeah.
It seems to me. Well, we could go ahead and look at this here. Look at this. Um,
Yep.
we could just about get in our third and final sprint at this point, if we're down for that.
Yep. I got hats left. I'm open.
Strange kind of flex, but I'm down. It's like how many sprints can we do until Porsche runs out of hats, right? And we're here for like another Ridertown Junction or something. We went through the Holland Tunnel. Nice, nice. Yeah. Yeah, okay. Just a sec then, Yeah. Good luck, all. Yay, that was the end of our third sprint. How'd y'all do?
Yay. I read some more. That was about it for me.
Nice, nice. Yeah. I read some more. Actually, not one, but two characters in the story actually died in that little span of pages that I read.
Oh, wow.
So that was interesting. But yeah, that was about it. I just kept on with a bit more reading. I changed my hat. That's about it. Yeah. Um, Portia could be in the process of maybe doing something with her wardrobe right now. Who knows? It could be why she's not back.
Or getting one of those million phone calls she was complaining to us about.
Right, yeah. CB distracted again. Okay, okay. 79 words. Okay, good job.
I'm here. I'm back.
Didn't I say I wasn't going to let you down there, Malin?
So
Portia, did you swap out your glasses or something? Or
I did.
that's what I thought. Yeah, those are some nice specs you got there.
Thank you. Actually, I should swap them back because this hat that I've had on the entire time matches better with the glasses that I had on at the beginning of the stream. Because Malin said, show us the hats and glasses. So these match better. That is actually one of my bar tricks, that I get the same glasses in different colors to match my outfits. It's the same pair of glasses, just in different colors. So
Oh, right.
yeah.
Okay.
So,
I don't actually see like glasses that are available in different colors. I mean, for me, it's just like you see the frame, like the pair of glasses, and you like it and you buy it. But I can't even recall, at least off the top of my head, ever seeing like a um, frame, of a certain design, obviously, but then available in like different colors. It
oh
could
yeah,
just be.
I have one more in this series to get, and then there's another series that I'm going to start that looks almost identical but has other colors that these ones don't have. So
Oh,
yeah, these
right.
are all the same. Right? These are Nicole Miller. Yeah, does all of these different colors in the same frame. So, um, and they have, because you all only see me in a small box, but they have the bedazzled jewels on the back.
Pretty.
Sorry, the what on the back?
They're
They're
jewels.
sparkly.
Oh,
Pretty.
okay.
Yeah, it's
Nice,
just that
nice.
you all only see me in a small box, so
Right.
get the full effect of the.
And of course, I was just totally joking as I was making that joke about the glasses, and I was,
I know,
referring to the to
because
the
they
to
had
the
silver.
hat, and
Yeah.
uh,
So
that's awesome, though.
yeah.
Nice glasses, Portia. Nice glasses. I like your glasses.
So I can, so if my prescription changes, it ruins my entire wardrobe.
Yeah. Um, yeah. So, how'd you make out there in the sprint, there, Portia? Not counting the glasses and the hats.
I am doing okay. The writing is going slow, but that's okay. It's Friday. We're just kind of taking it easy, getting
Yeah.
some words in. So when we're done here, I'm going to do a little bit of collage and see if that kind of gets some juices flowing. And then I will write a little bit more. I have some class stuff to catch up on, my West African cosmology and tarot class that I take on Saturdays and Sundays. So I have some notes to catch up on to get ready for tomorrow.
Oh, nice, nice. That's cool.
Yeah.
And that also means that the two of you have Saturday classes going on right now. Yeah. I feel
Saturday
kind
class
of,
club.
yeah, left out. I've got the FOMO. I've just got like chores and stuff on Saturdays. So that sounds cool, though. Yeah, nice.
How's the book
So,
going? Did you finish?
no, I know I didn't finish, but I was actually just saying that in that really short span of pages that I've read, actually two characters, not one, but two characters actually died in the story. So, yeah, there's that. the look on Portia's
I know.
face.
She looks so horrified.
I thought you were gonna say something happy, like not one of the characters got married and they're like they died, and I'm like,
It's like Porscha tasted like a bitter green bean casserole or something.
oh,
Or the beans were like way undercooked and like super hard or something. I'm sorry to kind of tell you how my story went for this sprint, but
it's
yeah.
okay. I mean, no spoilers for a book that has been around since before any of us were born. Like, it's like spoiler alert. It's like, no, this book is really old.
Yeah, 1927 it was first published. So.
Really?
Maybe by once it's like 2027 and it's 100 years old, then like the whole like no spoilers thing could be like really off the table. Like if it's not quite 100 years old, then maybe you can be like, oh, like don't spoil it for me, please. And I still haven't gotten around to it. Once it's 100, it's like fair game, But yeah. Let me actually just see here. CB, my aunt took me to a different optician. Optician. But they don't do my prescription. So I think Ray-Ban does different colors of the same frame. Oh, I'm sorry. Okay. Yeah. Yeah, that would sound right to me for sure. I got a pair from my regular optician. Nice. CB, my favorite book was published in 1868.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
Okay, so this is kind of like a bit of a riddle or something. What this could be, maybe. Hashtag books published in 1868. I'm not sure if hashtags were a big thing back then, but you never know. Optician equals British word for eye doctor. Yeah, totally. Yeah. And it's the same here in Canada and everything. I was just being a bit, having a bit of a spacey moment there, but yeah. I think that after the stream, pretty much right after the stream, I'm going to walk to the grocery store, get some groceries. And I think what I'll do is I'll actually get some sushi to go, like the what do you call it? Like the trays, in the plastic trays. So I'll probably just browse, and there's a bit of a selection there. And I'll pick out something, a nice sushi tray for myself. And then, when I get home with my groceries, it's like dinner's already served, right? Because then I can just put the stuff away and then go straight for my sushi. But yeah. And I think I have an idea of which tray, because I know the trays. Like I'm there quite a lot buying sushi, so I know what they look like and everything. So I have an idea which one I want, but Yeah. How about you there, Portia, for dinner? Any green bean casserole in the oven right now? Or
It
pot
is not.
roast?
I am not sure what dinner holds. Sushi sounds really good. Sushi sounds really good. Did I ever tell you all the story of how this is years before I met my husband, and I used to get the family size sushi from my grocery store and refrigerate it. I would eat some for dinner and then I'd put it in the refrigerator. And I had been doing that for months. And I would just eat the rest of the sushi the next day. And my best friend comes over and he's like, "What do you have a death wish? You can't do that. It's sushi. Like, you're not supposed to do that." And I was like, "Well, the family size tray is cheaper, so I'm saving money." And he's like, "Not if you get botulism. You can't do that."
Oh no.
And I was like,
Was this like the genesis of the whole Porsche thing? Like the art of cheating the expiration date kind of like thing of like knowing exactly, like mastering that art of like pushing it as far as possible.
no, actually, no. I've always done that, but I just hadn't thought about it because I was like, it's not raw. It was the smoked salmon, which is like my favorite, the Philadelphia rolls.
Oh, I love smoked salmon.
Yeah. So I was like, it's fine. And my best friend's like, it's not though. You can't do that. You'll get really sick. And
Yeah.
I didn't because I guess, spoiled food does not make me sick. Like, I don't know. There's something in my genome that like I can eat
Then
food.
there was also that time you guys were like in the middle of Nebraska or something, and then Edward ordered sushi, like right like in the middle of the continent or something. What was that?
Oh,
Oh, Vegas, Las Vegas.
when he was in Vegas, I wasn't with him when he was in Vegas, and he was like, "Oh, seafood platter," and the people he was with were like, "I think maybe don't do that." And he's like, "I love seafood," and they're just like, "No, Edward, no seafood in Vegas." Like,
I love that.
so I mean,
It's like like hashtag geography. Like it's literally a geographical kind of issue there, huh?
it really is, but there are some people. I always tell people, I'm like, don't do things because I do them, because I would hate for somebody to say, "I saw Portia like eat eggs that were 2 weeks past date and she's fine," and like, don't do that. You might get sick. I won't. Like, my body is used to eating things that have gone off. Um, I won't give them to anybody else though. But if it's just me and I have some and I look in the refrigerator, I'm like, it's fine enough.
You ever notice though? I'm sure this isn't my imagination, but you ever notice how like if something is like maybe like it gets to its expiration date and even indeed goes past it, but you're always using it a little at a time, like consistently, like it won't go bad. It's almost like if it feels that it's like loved or something,
Yeah.
it'll stay, like it won't go bad. But then if it's just that thing that like you haven't touched at all, um, then it'll go bad. And maybe it's actually like literally a thing, like if it's like got some fluid in it or something, it's like a milk. If it is like milk, um, it's literally like the bacteria will form more quickly, maybe if it's really stagnant and it's not moving. Whereas if it's always every time you drink a bit of milk or use a bit of milk, even if it's a little bit, like you shake it every time, then it's like it disrupts that so that it's like the bacteria can't form. I don't know.
Something like, because that is true, because I know that I had to finally make Edward throw out his oyster sauce because he was using the same bottle of oyster sauce. And I was like, I think that's the same, because it was a big bottle. I was like, I think that's the same bottle of oyster sauce you had when we met. And he was like, "No, I don't think it's the," and I was like, "We've been together for 12 years. Please throw that away." Like, "I think it's fine." And I was like, I don't think so.
Yeah, that sounds like, wow, that sounds like an old yeah,
But
an old
he
bottle,
used it. He was like,
jar, or
"I use it." And I was like, "Yes, but
yeah. Um, I had this like it was like a plastic not container, like a shaker or something of like bacon bits,
Mhm.
and that we had that for years in the fridge there. But I would use it,
Yeah.
but obviously I wouldn't use it like a lot. It would be like only from time to time I'd use a bit, but I would use it. It wouldn't be like really, really long stretches between like when I was using it. And then every time I use it, I would shake it a bit or disrupt, the bacon bits, of course. But yeah, I don't know. I think there's something to it. I've just always felt that way, that there's something about it. It's like, it's almost like you can just think of it like if the thing feels like it's loved, it won't go bad, like something like that. But if you just abandon it and whatnot, then it goes bad. And
Yes. And it depends on if you've shaken it. You hear that here first, YouTube friends. If you shake the bottle before and after every use, the expiration date doesn't matter anymore. But if you didn't shake the bottle, then you don't want to do that. Then you'll get
yeah,
sick. You'll get really sick. But
that's
also,
the key.
condiments don't really. I don't feel like condiments go bad because there's so much vinegar. Like it preserves itself. It's. I mean, it's a guideline. It doesn't really.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, for sure. Condiments, like spam, and spam is just like, or like a Big Mac. Isn't there like some experiment they did with like a Big Mac? It couldn't go bad.
It looks exactly
Something.
the same as the day it was purchased, and I was like, "Wow,
Yeah.
that's frightening." Like you want your food to eventually go bad, like maybe not quickly, but you want your food to eventually like decompose. Speaking of which, and I
Yeah.
know we have to go. I know people have things to do, but I just have one thing I have to show you all. It's really cool.
Yeah. Yeah. Totally. CB hashtags would have been known as Sharps in 1868. There you go. The book is about four sisters. Okay. Do you have any ideas what this book could be there, Heather?
No clue.
It's not.
I am scrap gardening again, and these are my collard greens that I am growing from kitchen scraps.
Oh, really?
Cool.
Oh, wow.
So just
Interesting.
the bottom off and put it in water and let the
Yeah.
roots grow, and then I'm gonna plant this weekend in the ground. Well, my soil is
cool.
back. I'm gonna plant this in a food safe bucket and have collard greens.
Oh, yeah. That's interesting. I like that.
Yep.
Neat.
So
Oh, by the way, I think the book is Little Women. The book that CB is talking about. I think it's Little Women.
I was about to say, I swear, I was about to say, I don't think it's Little Women. And I did start that sentence, but that was all I could kind of think of. But
that sounds fun, Porscha. I love to do that with
look.
a lot of like vegetables that I buy, especially like onion and like green onion, stuff like that. Like you get to regrow it, and romaine lettuce is good for that too.
Yeah.
Interesting. Yeah.
So as I've been buying vegetables, I'm starting to do that. So I'm looking forward to doing sweet potatoes because that was my award-winning science fair project in 6th grade. I did a sweet potato experiment where I grew sweet potato plants for sweet potatoes. So I'm going to do that because sweet potato plants are edible. So even if the sweet potato itself doesn't regrow, you can eat sweet potato plants as a vegetable. Right. The greens, cool. The sweet potato greens.
Oh, okay.
But I always feel the need to say every time I tell someone, be like, you can eat the sweet potato greens, but you cannot eat actual white potato greens because those will poison you. So
I'm sure they found that out the hard way back in the day, huh?
Like,
yeah.
Only the actual sweet potato greens and they're really good
Mm.
in salad. And you can cook them up and do mixed greens with the collards and the mustards and all that kind of
Right.
stuff. Um,
That's so interesting. And you wouldn't even have thought that. Like, imagine like it was like 10,000 years ago or something, and you're there like, uh, maybe you have trepidation at first, but then like it's the sweet potato, and then, well, if they had sweet potatoes, 10,000 years ago. But bear with me, right? They're like, oh, and then they try the greens, the leaves, and then it's like, it's okay. And so they're kind of like, oh, it's okay. And then they try like the white potatoes or the regular potatoes, and they're like, oh yeah, we got this for sure, and then they all end up going horizontal.
they all end up waking up dead. That's an old family saying in my family, wake up dead, which it makes no sense, but it makes perfect sense. You're like, don't do that, you'll wake up dead.
Yeah. Yeah, that's funny though. It's interesting though, There's a lot of like human history and like all of this knowledge of different plants and things and foods and ways you can cook them, and like basically like creating different things like by cross whatever, like pollinating, or by crossing the genes or whatever to make different things. And
There used to be a lot of trial and error with food.
yeah. CB, getting back to smoothies for a minute, I have two that are my go-to smoothies. One raspberries, blackberries, dairy-free yogurt, honey, and peanut butter. Raspberry blast. Okay.
Nice.
Spinach, chili powder, dairy-free yogurt, and peanut butter. Hulk Buster.
Nice.
Okay. I think at Dairy Queen, there's like a Hulk something. It might just be like a summer special or something. But there's like some Hulk Smasher Blizzard or something like that, I seem to recall. But that's neither here nor there. But nice. Yeah. Well, we've been here now for 2 hours, 49 minutes and 34 seconds. We've gotten in three. Our 30-minute sprints. I know we have been here longer than I anticipated, but I think that's a good thing, because I think the conversation's been pretty interesting and fun and funny, and I think we've learned quite a bit too, about different things. How many hats have we seen in this stream? I think have we seen 5 or 6? Because I've had 2. Porscha, I think you're muted there.
2 from you, and 1, 2, 3, 4 for me.
6. It's the stream of the 6 hats and the 4 sisters. It kind of gets, for me, it's like it gets to that point in the stream, and things get quite nutty and goofy. So, and usually it's quite safe to say that's the point where you want to kind of end it, just so that it doesn't get worse, But yeah. I can't have most dairy produce anymore, and we don't have Dairy Queen here. Oh, okay. Malin, all of the hats, yeah.
So,
look at this here.
When next time I say I wear all the hats, I mean literally. I wear all of the hats.
Like a long stack.
You wouldn't be willing to wear them all at once, would you?
No.
Okay.
Extra. Like,
Darn. Dang it.
Yeah. we've pushed it just too far. That's just the one
That was too much
one
for
push
Porsche.
yeah. Well, Heather, Portia, thanks so much for guest hosting with me, and I've had fun and everything.
Thank
Should
you
we
for
just
having
about
us.
pull the plug and all that?
Yep.
But yeah, thanks, bundles and
Buy
bunches.
Porsche's book.
Bye.
Thank you.
Yeah, of course. Low Bridge High Water by our
Yes,
very
wait,
own
I have it
Porsche
right here.
7. Oh,
Buy the
I
book.
can. Yeah,
Buy my book.
yeah, totally.
Heather's
And
the
I'll be.
best.
Yeah, and I know I've been messaging with Porsche. I'm totally going to be getting my copy myself ASAP, and I'm really looking forward to reading it. And yeah, yay. And she's a beaut, that's for sure. Nice and glossy too.
Yeah.
Vanna, is that you back there? Anyway, never mind. Yeah, thanks, bundles and bunches.
Thanks,
Bye-bye.
everybody.